He was a complicated figure, and I don't mean that in a negative way. He had a nuanced personality, a lot of ambition, obviously, and to his critics, a lot of ego. But that should not belittle in any way what he did. And he was really a fixture on the American civil rights movement from the 60s on. He was at Martin Luther King Jr.'s side, literally, when he was shot in Memphis in April 68. And he went on to be very active just about everywhere on the civil rights front. You know, he grew up in the South himself, in a very poor family, in a very sort of difficult childhood. His real father really never acknowledged him, and he went on. He sort of thought he was going to escape some of the post Jim Crow laws in the South by going to university in Illinois. But even there, he encountered a lot of very overt racism. In fact, he said in the North, it seemed that sometimes he got worse taunts than he did in the South, which is, you know, with the institution of slavery and all the Jim Crow laws. He went on basically. After that, as you said, he ran for president twice, 84, 88. And perhaps if you know very little about Jesse Jackson, the one thing internationally he became known for, especially also in the U.S., was that Keep Hope Alive speech at the 1988 Democratic Convention. He said it 4 times resoundingly in these real, his cadences. He had an extremely powerful voice, which really brought with it this moral authority. After that, after his 84 run, he also formed what was called the Rainbow Push Coalition. The Rainbow Coalition literally was that. It was supposed to be a patchwork coalition that wove together America's dispossessed, both minorities, African Americans, but also the white working class. He wanted it to be, and we heard echoes of this later in the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, he wanted it to be sort of that rainbow coalition, you know, that, Barack Obama somehow also managed to stitch together later. If there was one thing in Jesse Jackson's legacy, perhaps, he was too late, really, to be a Martin Luther King type figure. Martin Luther King was already on the scene, was his mentor. He tried to sort of bask in the legacy, and some would say the glory of King. But he was also he never became sort of the political icon. He never really won high political office. He lost his 2 bids for the Democratic nomination, 84 and 88. He remained more remembered for his moral stature as an activist on those fronts, trying to encourage better social and educational opportunity, putting a lot of money into college scholarships for underprivileged Americans, all of that. But he never did rise to that highest office that he sought. But towards the end of his years, he had clashed with Barack Obama a little bit, and he hadn't always been praising of Barack Obama, but he did show up, and you might remember that iconic image of him when Obama won and appeared in Chicago after in 2008. He was there among the revelers, and you saw tears in his eyes, and it showed that he had really come full circle.